All right, y'all. Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J is live. We in the building, and at the top of the show, we have a very, very special segment that y'all haven't heard in a while. We got brother and sister shenanigans with Big Bro Joe and Little Sis Kim. They gonna lead off the show with us tonight. We got a lot to get into. The Supreme Court of the United States of America has definitely made news. We talking Skittles and Confederate flags. What do they have in common? We're gonna talk about Donald Trump, the president of the United States, burning churches. And I got a question later on in the show that I had in social media that got a whole lot of attention. So we're going to get into that and many, many more topics right here live, because ain't no half stepping with Marcus J. It's right now.
It's about that time. It's about that time to get
Button your lip, open your ears, strap on your thinking cap. Socially conscious talk that's entertaining with a dash of humor and the top sports stories of the week. It's time for Ain't No Half Steppin' with Marcus J.
Sellers has Jordan. Jordan with 2 seconds to go. Puts it up and scores at the buzzer. Michael Jordan has won it for Chicago. Manning lobs it. Torres alone. Touchdown, New York.
Down goes Frazier. Down goes Frazier. Down goes Frazier. He hits one deep to right center. That ball is out of here. The Yankees win the pennant.
If they lying, then they must be half stepping. Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J is live. We in the building. Be down with us tonight by calling us up on the phone at 804-402-2893. That's if you want to be down with the flagship show live in the den of Legacy Internet Radio. Thank y'all to everybody that's listening to us. You checked out the www.legacyinternetradio website. Of course, you hit us up on our fan pages, of course, and then of course you're checking us out on TuneIn. We appreciate those folks who have pulled out their tablet, their smartphone, their computer, and they have gone to TuneIn and searched Legacy Internet Radio. It's because of you guys that we continue to come here and do this show week after week after week, and we appreciate it. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Ain't no hashtag with Marcus J is sponsored by Live Action Captions and Free Spirit Enterprises. Check out our sponsors, and we will have a word from each of them momentarily throughout the show. 804-402-2893 is the number to dial. We got a lot to get into tonight, so I'm not going to waste no time. I'll go ahead and introduce our guest who we have in the building tonight. And this dude, he don't need no introduction, but I'm going to give him one anyway. You typically hear him every third Monday, but as we say, when we intro him every week, he got the license to just walk up in here whenever he feel like it, and he usually does. Y'all know him as Big Bro Joe. I know him as my Big Bro Joe as well. What's up, brother? How you doing, man?
Hey, Marcus J, how you doing today, family?
I'm doing fabulous, man. It's been an interesting day, but we're going to get through the show tonight. I'm looking forward to a great one. How you doing?
Hey, you know, it's one of those I'm glad Monday is over type days.
Oh, yeah.
And amen.
Yes. You just heard a new voice, Big Bro Joe. You want to tell the listeners who that voice was just now?
Well, see, that voice that you hear is my counterpart in crime, my sister in the brother and sister shenanigans, my little sis Kim. What it do, little sis?
Monday's over. Tomorrow's my Friday. Life is good.
Yo, Friday?
Tomorrow's a Friday.
Yo.
Oh, you know you getting the side evil eye right now, right?
Whatever, man.
How you gonna give
it to me on Wednesday when I'm at home.
Damn, she said that joint just right there.
Ooh.
With a bam.
Like, take this and I'm gonna be home. Don't call me on Wednesday talking no junk, right?
Actually, I'm gonna go down to the beach. I'm gonna drive down to Yorktown Beach, pack up my cooler, set out my chair,
and get you a tan.
That's right.
Really?
Really, don't go there.
Do you mind if we, hate
Sure, go ahead and hate.
Oh, okay, I'm just making sure that it's appropriate
Just
because
as
I'm gonna
he was
do
about
it.
to hate
No.
on me getting a tan.
Yeah, I'm gonna hate on her
because
going
I
down
am the more melanin kissed sibling.
Is that a really
Melanin blessed.
kissed?
I'm gonna go with melanin blessed.
Melanin blessed.
Yeah, melanin.
See, she
blessed
always
sounds
doing something
better.
extra. Yo, did I ever tell you about the time that she turned the color off on the TV? We had an old black and white TV back in the day,
Okay.
and
Turned
she
down
would,
for what?
because she was evil. Yo, I'm sitting there trying to watch my cartoons. I'm watching the Little Rascals or whatever, and she would run and make it black, and then go sit down like,
What's wrong?
yo, I didn't do nothing. When mom came in the room, like,
So you being mean to Joe?
I wouldn't run. I don't think I could walk.
no, she couldn't run because her legs too short.
Wow.
Yeah, he went there.
But
What you gonna do about it?
I mean, he didn't. No one has ever definitively been able to prove that I was the culprit in these TV blackening incidents.
sound like Fox
it's
News
kind of
right
like
now.
burning black churches.
Right.
Who did it?
Somebody
I don't
did
know.
it. Somebody did it, but we're
Somebody
not
did
quite sure who it is.
That's all I'm saying.
I don't know.
There was no proof.
Joe,
Sir,
that's your sister, man.
that's my sister.
Yeah, man. So y'all gonna do these shenanigans?
Yeah, we're gonna get into
Well,
a
let's
couple of-
shenanigans.
we'll
Oh,
get into a couple of
shenanigans. I like it.
shenanigans.
Was it good?
That's an SAT word.
It's not a real
Spell
one. It's not a real word.
I can spell it. SHE Shenana ANGIZE Shenanigans.
Say word. She's smarter than both of us.
Well, it don't take
You
much.
ain't know.
I failed that fifth grade show. Real talk.
Man, please, we got over life on charm.
Hey, and good looks.
Yeah, thank you.
Wow.
Thank
Talking
you.
about me.
Oh, you was your turn.
Mm.
I don't know.
Shenanigans.
Okay.
Relative.
But your snowy beard having so.
Oh wait. All right, so let's get it started. Where do you want to start? You want to start here, or you want to start there?
Let's start there.
There?
Yeah, let's start there.
Well,
Okay, we can
where's
start
there?
Let's start. How about
Man.
not in my house?
Not
Not in my house.
Not
Not
in
my
house.
house. We used to hear "not in my house" a lot growing up.
Right.
Because Papa Joe would tell you in a minute,
This his house.
yeah, this is my house. So, you going to do what I say do
Everything in this house.
belongs to
Me.
me. Yeah, that's what he used to say.
Don't close no doors.
In my house.
I take it off the hinges.
I've seen it happen.
Yeah.
Not me, though.
Was it me?
Yeah, it was you, Jack.
Took the hinges off on your camera.
I mean, I ain't had no doors at his house.
At his house.
Well, I'm quick to tell Mama J that, although I love her and she's great, she's broke. She has nothing. I'm rich,
oh, yeah.
but you have nothing. Mm-hmm. And I share with you. I got that from Bill Cosby.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know about Bill Cosby. I got that from JT Jr.
Before Bill Cosby.
Yeah, before Bill Cosby.
Not in my house.
Not in my house. So last week, our illustrious
POTUS.
was in the White House.
In where?
The White House.
In where?
His house.
His house.
Oh, okay.
I believe it was a press conference. His trusty sidekick
Joe Biden.
Joe
was by his side.
Brother Joe.
And, our president is not immune to hecklers.
Nah, he's seen it before.
He's seen it before, and, he's graceful with it. Most of the time, he just let it roll off like water on a duck's back. But last week, I saw my president put up his finger and say, no,
No.
not in my house.
Now, what was the impetus for that?
I don't remember what they were speaking about. Do you remember?
Well, I can go to CNN Politics from Washington, CNN, and this is what it's stating. President Barack Obama is used to hecklers stopping him during speeches.
Right,
But
right.
he draws a line when the audience interrupts him in his own house.
Say that one more time.
In his own house.
Can I get an amen?
Well,
Well,
say as Barack Obama was speaking at a White House event honoring LGBT Pride Month on Wednesday, an accented voice rang out in the crowd. Obama wasn't amused. "Shame on you," he said to the heckler, who was protesting deportation under the Obama administration.
Wait. The heckler was protesting
Deportation.
Would it be a logical next step to say that the accented voice of said heckler was issued from a person of non-American citizenship?
Okay, let me go on.
Please do.
Obama responded, listen, you're in my house. It's disrespectful, and there's some quotations in there because there was a whole lot that Obama actually told him. The interruption persisted. However, Obama asked for the heckler to be removed from the East Room. In other words,
Exit
get your
stage,
left.
please.
The part that you missing was the gangster way he did it. He said, "Somebody come get him."
Yeah.
That's what he said. He pulled a Malcolm X on him.
He said, "Somebody come get him." Yeah, don't forget that part because that part's very important.
It is very.
Come get him.
Well, we got something else we're gonna say about that because I'm trying to figure out why it took them, and I counted. It took them 47 seconds to figure out that they were gonna actually do what the POTUS said do.
I had noticed that as well. That
Yeah, I
it
did.
didn't seem that
It wasn't as immediate as
the
it should have
Secret
been.
Service, I'm assuming that's who was coming to remove.
Oh, yeah.
Were moving as swiftly
Yeah.
as I could move, even with my stunted legs.
We not going. Okay. And see, I hate to say this next, but shortly after the
Wow.
after the incident, an immigration group of protesters. Wait a minute, hold up. And shortly after the incident, an immigration group claimed the protester was an undocumented. Pause. Undocumented. Now we're gonna go back to what he was doing. They were mad because of deportation.
Under the Obama administration.
But if you an undocumented immigrant
But guess what?
in my
House.
on my
Property. Guess what though?
what?
She documented now.
Yeah, she documented like hell.
There's definitely papers on it now.
Yeah. There's a drone watching her actions
Yeah.
as we speak.
The undocumented immigrant's name was Genesette Gutierrez, who is a transgender.
I thought you was gonna say Genesee Qua. I'm sorry. No, that was too easy. That was too easy.
That was too easy.
Gutierrez was a founding member of Familia TQLM, established to advocate for LGBTQ immigrants, who the group says are often excluded in the immigration debate.
Now wait a minute. I don't understand how you're excluded in a debate if we're talking about immigrants in general. Do they specify male immigrants, female immigrants, or are they all just
As far as I know, an immigrant is an immigrant.
right? I've heard specifications between children and
Children?
adults.
Yes.
But I have never heard
By sex, by gender.
right pros or cons
Right.
for putting out all the women or keeping all the men.
I'm not familiar with
Or
that.
the people who were born in the wrong body. I've never heard. So why is there a need?
I noticed that politically correct thing you just did. Yeah.
Didn't she?
Peep
Yeah.
that. I know we don't have to discuss it, but I
That's some
peeped.
je ne sais quoi right there, boy.
I peeped.
But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get me a group and I'm gonna protest something. Cause I mean, what?
You a member of a group.
Yeah, say word.
There's always protesting something.
Yeah, it's something for you to protest.
But you know, I just find that particular piece that she is the president or the spokesperson of a group that they need a group.
Hey, I'm curious. I know that people out there is real early, but you know what? If you are a member of a group and you like to protest, give us a call, man, 804-402-2893, and be a part of the discussion here on the flagship show, Ain't No Half Steppin' with Marcus J, where you have tonight, hashtag brother and sister shenanigans with my little sis, Kim.
Kim. I like that. Here's my thought on it. Every president gets heckled. A lot of what Barack Hussein Obama goes through is what other presidents have gone through. Has he gone through it worse, in my opinion? Some things, yes. Some things just as bad as others. The heckling, to me is about the same as everybody else. I don't think that other presidents have gotten heckled more or less than he has in, because I remember George Bush having shoes thrown at him and stuff like that, and so and that was funny. They made a video game meme after that joint, and so I think with the age of being able to be in the same room with them and being able to have more access to them and them, being in social media and things like that, people feel a little bit more close to you. Now, I think the test will be after Barack Hussein Obama leaves office and we get another president, male, female, regardless of ethnicity. I don't think any of that is relevant. I think what will be relevant is how the office is treated, because now we have precedent.
Yes.
During the age of Twitter and Facebook. I mean, we had a little bit of it with George Bush, but it's more so now. As far as how he dealt with it, I think as brothers and sisters, black folk, as brothers and sisters, I think we all got a kick out of the swag he had when he was like, not my house.
Because we've all heard that.
Some
we've
of us have
been
done
to
it.
somebody's house and heard somebody say, no, not over here.
I've been on the right side of them words.
Yeah.
I have thrown people out of my house. So yeah, exactly. I could dig it.
But I do think that even though there have always been hecklers, and I'm sure there will continue to be hecklers, I think what has stood out for me in President Obama's administration is the level of disrespect from other politicians.
Oh, you mean that white woman?
When you can stand up at the State of the Union and show out.
You lie.
Yeah.
Joe Wilson. You know where he was from, right?
No, where's
South Carolina.
Oh, okay.
Wasn't that lady from Arizona?
Arizona. Right. When you can put your finger in the president's face and still keep said finger.
Yeah, because normally you would get that finger sniped
Because
off.
if you put your finger in my face, you might come back with no finger.
You gonna draw a nub.
So I just think the level of disrespect from his contemporaries, I'm not talking about the folks that feel legislated against, but from his contemporaries is sad and disrespectful, and shows just how little respect a black man gets in America.
You know what? I'm glad you made that point, because I still like to say, and my pops, Pops says this quite a bit, you can disagree without being disagreeable.
Right.
You don't have to like what I say, but you're going to respect me regardless.
Right.
Heard that so many times. And once again, not in my house. You're not going to be disrespectful and denigrate not only my house, where my family is, and anybody else. That's not going to happen. And pretty much that's what our president, for me, finally stood up and said.
Right.
I mean, for the first time.
For the very, very first time, I saw a different President Obama.
Right.
I saw one that was like, you know what? If it wasn't for these cameras, I might jump across here.
Right.
And
we're going down a whole nother different
this
kind of
might
way.
go to the left.
Yeah.
And speaking of the president doing things that he has not done before, I mean, last week he pretty much had the best week ever.
Yes, he did.
The best week ever. We had the Supreme Court uphold the Affordable Care Act, also known as Obamacare. We had the Supreme Court legalize gay marriage in all 50 states, which is something that the president has come out in support of. He put folks out his house. He was having a really good week. But, I think what you just said about disagreeing but not being disagreeable, I think that's something that the nation is being faced with right now in the aftermath of the decisions that came down from the Supreme Court last week. I was watching an interview earlier today between Katie Couric and Ted Cruz. Right. Oh, Ted.
He's so misguided, man.
Where he basically accused the Supreme Court of rewriting the Constitution.
Yeah.
And that he has, as he put it, north of a decade has been spent defending the Constitution. And of course, he is outraged, appalled, and probably has heartburn over all that has been going on. And I think that in the face of all of these changes and decisions, and you may agree with them, you might not agree with them, you may have your reasons, they may be based in your faith, they may be based in your biology, they could be based anywhere, but we need to remember that the world is moving forward and we have to move with it.
You know what I think? I'm glad you brought this up, and here's the reason why I'm glad. Because I remember a few years ago when people was talking about the president, and you know what sometimes makes me laugh is how the majority culture in our country, translation, white folk, want to be in control of your pride. And what I mean by that is when black people saw a black man elected to the presidency, yes, we know he's half white, we get all that. When you look at it, you see a black man. When you look at it, we see a black man. So let's not play semantics. Let's keep it 100 for a second. When a black man is elected president of the United States, black people felt immediate pride about that. Don't try to throw shade at me for having that pride. There's nothing wrong with it. Did you vote for him because he was black? If you did, that's on you. You got to rationalize that inside. Ain't nobody vote for no Herman Cain. You know what I'm saying? So you got to also be viable. Yeah, exactly. So you got to be, if you're going to vote for somebody because he's black, they got to be viable. That's kind of, the first thing. But when I look at how the president is treated and how people throw the kind of shade at him that I see is done, it's like, come on, man. Left-leaning liberal white folk, y'all don't see how this is different than the jokes about President Bush not being real smart. I mean, this is mean-spirited.
But left-leaning or not, that white gives them a privilege that they don't have to see. They don't have to acknowledge. It doesn't even hit their radar.
Right. Now, I think a lot of them don't realize that there is a level of privilege that comes with that fairer skin and that lack of melanin. And I think that you do, if you're going to be a person who is fair-minded, then you do yourself and you do our country a disservice by not acknowledging the privilege and the head start that you were given simply by being white in this country. And those of us intelligent black people ain't gonna blame you for it because we realize that we have an opportunity to do well here. There's certain things that are in place that will make it difficult for us. We acknowledge it because we know it and we see it and we live it. You may not because you don't know it, you don't see it, and you don't live it.
Well, is there still, I see it in our job structures still today. If you go back and look from the 60s forward, if you look at the way job structures were always made, there were white men, white women, black women, and black men. And if you look at the structures, not much has really changed except for the differential shift. Sometimes you can see a white woman kind of neck and neck with a white man.
Or maybe a transgender.
Well, I got a question. Wow. I'll throw a question out there for you right now. Affirmative action was designed to help minorities. Who is the primary beneficiary of affirmative action?
Is that a trick question?
Corporations.
It's not a trick question. As far as the people being hired, the number one beneficiary of affirmative action is not black men. It's not black women. It's white women.
White women, yeah.
It's white women. And so I just think that when we talk about discussions of the the Constitution, I think a lot of times what happens, and I don't want to throw religion in it, but I'm going to use this parallel to make a point. People who speak politics and people who speak religion, they use the Constitution and the Bible against you because the average person is not well versed in either of them. So if you're not well versed in scripture, someone can throw a verse at you and they'll seem real smart. All they're doing is regurgitating something that they may have heard potentially. I can tell you specifically on the Constitution because I bought it, I read it, I studied it, I read it regular. I keep it by the bed right next to my Quran and my Bible, and I read it, and I know it ain't nothing in there that addresses marriage.
Right.
Nothing. And that addresses marriage at all.
I think when we talk about people, using things that they don't understand to get their point across, that is exactly what is happening right now. I am a Christian. I'm a seminarian. I spend time studying the Bible, not just from a biblical standpoint, but from a cultural standpoint, from an anthropological standpoint. And I have no problem with marriage equality. Because as far as how I see marriage from a biblical standpoint and how I see liberty and equality, two completely different things. So what? They made marriage equality. They ain't told me I had to go marry no woman. Moving on. I mean, it's not a big deal. But I just want to read this before we go to break. And this is actually found on Donnie Simpson's Facebook page. And it says, in 6 years, President Obama saved the country from our second Great Depression, saved the auto industry, got universal health care, popped Osama, and cut the unemployment rate in half. Still, I see bumper stickers that say, no Obama, no jobs. Really? If he were white, with this list of accomplishments, the earth movement that you'd be feeling today would be workers chiseling his face onto Mount Rushmore. And the battle you'd be watching in Congress would be over a constitutional amendment to allow him 2 more terms.
I can dig that. I mean, there's nothing more you can even say to that.
That's it.
I mean, I'm glad you made that point, Kim, because I had a conversation, very brief, with one of my Republican friends who had a very negative, President Obama post talking about how he's the worst president ever, and there was a ton of people agreeing with her, saying all the stuff that they were saying. A lot of it was personal and mean-spirited and nasty and all of that kind of stuff. But I simply asked the question because a lot of times, and I'm known to be pretty aggressive in some of the social media activities that I have, and I know that I mostly get interaction with people who either agree with me or feel comfortable disagreeing with me. I never get any, interaction with people who vehemently disagree with me, and you guys are a bunch of punks to me. I will come to your post and say, what has he done that's so wrong that you don't like? And when I did that, guess what I got? No response. No response. Not only did I get no response, but a post that had been going on for pretty much that whole day, multiple people, not one of them responded. Not one when I asked what was so bad about this particular president. Now, I'm not going to be the guy that's just going to follow him because he's the black dude and the president that I like. Because there's plenty of stuff that he's done that I've scratched my head. Like last week, although he had a good week, one of the things he did was he decided that they weren't going to prosecute the families of people who negotiate with terrorists. I don't like that. I don't like that. You know what I mean? That's one of the things that I think that I'm rather conservative about. You can't negotiate with terrorists. If you go into places where you know that there's turmoil and your ass gets snatched, then
you should stay home.
I don't want to be disrespectful to anybody's family or anybody who has been through these kinds of ordeals. I have not. But my opinion is, if you go into one of these areas, that's a risk that you take. And we as a country, because of our national security, cannot set the precedent that we're going to start discussing stuff with you, not as a country and not as individuals who represent the country. It's a bad precedent to set. So I bring that up to say that I don't agree with everything this dude does, but I'm not going to call him out his name because of it.
No, you went on my realm.
Yeah.
I can't debate that whatsoever. I mean, like you said, you know me, I play devil's advocate all the time, and like you said, you have to put yourself, understanding government, understanding what harm's way you put the people who have to do the job, because the president's not going to get out his White House and go down there and get nobody, not nail one, but he has to give that executive order to send people to do a job. And
I think it's the hardest job in the world. I mean, like, I would not want to be him ever. And that's any president, not just President Obama, because they are making life and death decisions that have nothing to do with their own life and death every day. And I don't want that on my conscience, that I'm responsible for somebody not being here.
I mean, you look at the way Obama looked when he started, and look at the age that these 8 years have put on him now. Ooh.
They all go through it.
They all go
through it. Ain't no hashtag on Marcus J. Live from the Den, Legacy Internet Radio. Brother and sister shenanigans will continue on the other side of this break. Big bro Jolo says, Kim, ain't no hashtag Marcus J. Be back.